Lily's sleeping right behind me, and she's snoring. Lily Bear. She's the cutest, but she snores so much. She's a snoring dog. She snores and she farts, but she's still the cutest, and we still love her very, very much. Guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about Russian habits that I think all Vandwellers should adopt. But before we start this video, let me do a huge shout out to all of my Patreons. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and keeping keeping these videos coming. And another huge shout out to my newest Patreon, Nicholas. Thank you so much for pledging. I really appreciate it. Oh, one more thing that I forgot. If you're new to this channel, please consider joining Evie family by clicking that subscribe button down below, and definitely don't forget to click the bell notification button thing so you get notified every single time I upload a new video, which is almost on a daily basis. And as always, don't forget to drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about these habits and if you think that Vandwellers should adopt them. Anyways, let's get right into it. So habit number one is I think that Vandwellers should take off their shoes as soon as they walk inside the van. So growing up in Russia, I was always taught that as soon as you get home, you take off your shoes. And number one reason for that is because the streets outside are dirty. You don't know what's been on the streets. There's bacteria and dirt everywhere, and the last thing you want to do is bring all of the dirt inside of your house. So in Russia, we always take off our shoes as soon as we walk into our house or somebody else's home. And I think if you live in the van, you kind of should do the same. The van is a pretty small space and it gets dirty very quickly. And if you can kind of slow down the getting dirty process by a little bit, I think you should do it. So definitely, I think that all Vandwellers should take off their shoes as soon as they walk inside their home to keep the floors nice and clean, so that way all the dirt that you bring in the van doesn't end up in your bed or in your kitchen. Habit number two that I think that all Vandwellers should adopt is washing your hands as soon as you get back home. Just like with the shoes part, I was raised to, when as soon as you get home from the outside, the first thing you do is take off your shoes, and the second thing you do is go in the bathroom and wash your hands. And the reasons are pretty much the same. There is bacteria and dirt everywhere, and when you're outside or running errands, you're touching so many different things. We have so many bacteria, and you kind of don't want to bring it home. So as soon as you get home, wash your hands, and that way you have less of the chance of getting sick, because we all know getting sick while you live in the van sucks. It really does. Third habit that I think all Vandwellers should adopt, and it is a Russian habit, is dressing nicer. So in Russia, if you ever go to Russia, you will notice that old people, women and men included, well, for the most part, are dressed very nicely, especially if they're going outside, if they're going grocery shopping, if they're going to the bank, if they're flying somewhere, whatever it is, they all dress somewhat nicely. And the reason for that is because people want to be presentable. So when you live in a van, you're already kind of battling a few stereotypes. So when people see that you live in the van, they automatically assume you're a homeless person, you're a drug addict, or whatever it might be. And a huge reason for that is because there are a lot of RVs that are parked on the street where people are truly homeless, or they have drug problems, or whatever it might be. So because they see that all the time, they automatically assume that if you live in a van, you're kind of the same thing. And it's completely not true. There's plenty of Vandwellers who choose this lifestyle because they want to travel, or it's more cost efficient, whatever it might be. So the last thing you want to do is, or the last thing that people want to see when they see a van parked on their street, is to see a person coming out of it looking all dirty. Wherever you went on a hike and you have dirt all over you, whatever it might be, people don't want to see that, because they might assume that you are somewhat dangerous or just not all there. So dressing nicer definitely helps, because if people see you coming out of the van but you look presentable and nice, they are gonna automatically change their attitude towards you, and they're gonna think of you as a normal human being versus kind of looking down on you. So dressing a little bit nicer is definitely helps. And I don't mean by, I don't mean by dressing nicer, I don't mean you have to wear like a lot of makeup and have heels on and, have like a tie or anything. Just wear clean clothes and look somewhat presentable. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but as long as you look somewhat presentable and clean, that definitely helps the stereotypes and helps the Vandwellers community. Another habit that I think everybody should adopt is just keeping your van clean. In Russia, if you ever walk into anybody's home, that you'll see that the whole house is very clean and somewhat organized, and obviously not everybody is that way, but most of Russian people are. And a huge reason for that is because Russian people love going to other houses. We love having friends over, and sometimes your friends will just come over to your house for a cup of tea, and it's totally normal. So you definitely want to keep your house presentable, because you never know who might stop by for a cup of tea. When you live in the van, your van gets dirty very, very quickly. Trust me, I clean this van almost on a daily basis, and as soon as I'm done cleaning it, one thing gets moved and the van looks like a disaster again. And I think that if your van is cleaned and somewhat organized, when you are in the park somewhere or parked just anywhere, and somebody is walking by your van and they look in and they see a bunch of dirt and just your clothes not organized, they automatically might assume that you're this crazy homeless person. Is just the stereotype is out there. But if the person walks by your van and they look inside and they see that it's nice and it's clean and it's organized, they're automatically going to change their behavior and their attitude towards you, and it will just help the whole Vandwellers community a lot, because I feel like people are going to start thinking less. People are not going to look down on the Vandwellers life or van life as much if they know that people who do van life and people who are Vandwellers are actually normal people who clean their van and they dress normal and they have jobs and they just choose this lifestyle for many, many benefits that it comes with. Let's see. Another habit that I think all Vandwellers should add up is sitting down before you leave. So in Russia, every single time we travel, before we leave the house, the whole family or everybody just kind of sits down and takes like a little moment of quiet. We call it посидим на дорожку. And the reason why we do that is because we want to bring positive energy and have like safe travels. It's kind of a superstitious thing, I guess, but everybody does it. And it also allows you to kind of have this quiet moment where you can think about positive thoughts, or you can kind of go through your list of if there's anything you forgot or anything you need to bring or whatever it might be. And how you can apply it to van life is every time you're gonna leave your camp or where you parked for the night, if you can sit down for a few moments and quiet and peace and just kind of meditate or think about everything, you will make sure that everything is secured, you didn't forget anything, or if you were camping somewhere and you were using outside chairs, or if you're having a garbage, it will give you a moment to really think about, make sure you cleaned everything up, you brought everything inside, everything is secure, nothing is gonna fly everywhere when you drive, and everything is good to go. So I really think that this habit is very, very important, because we don't want to leave any garbage behind, especially if you're camping somewhere. The biggest thing is leave no trace behind. A lot of BLM lands are getting more regulated, and a lot of places don't want people sleeping overnight because a lot of people leave a lot of garbage behind. And I know a lot of people in van life communities don't do that, but when people do look at us, when people know that we'll live in the van, automatically assume that we're gonna leave a bunch of garbage behind. So when you have a moment to kind of sit down in the quiet and peace and think about things like that, you will make sure that you're leaving no trace behind. And if you do happen to see some garbage outside of your van, clean it up, because when people are gonna be walking by your van and they see that garbage, even though it's not yours, they're automatically gonna assume that it is yours. So cleaning up around your van, whether it's your garbage or not, definitely helps not only you, but the whole van life, van dwelling community. Anyway, so these are the Russian habits that I think all van dwellers should adopt. Let me know what you guys think about these. Do you think it's appropriate? Do you agree with them? Do you not agree with them? I really want to hear all of your opinions and thoughts on it. And once again, if you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button down below. Leave me some comments. Subscribe if you haven't done so. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I gotta wait for her to stop snoring. She likes to snore. О чем мы сможем разговаривать? Давайте. Тут можно посидеть на дорожку. I think she stopped. Hopefully. Maybe I should do a whole video just in Russian. What do you guys think? Should I do a video just in the Russian language and then put subtitles on the bottom? I think that'd be kind of cool. Gotta warm up. It's cold. Oh, my hair is on the mic. Okay, what other habits? I'm drawing like a blank. I'm drawing a blank, of course. As soon as I start filming, I'm drawing a blank. My brain just like, phew. Come on, brain, work. Dun. Anyways. Maybe I should just restart this whole thing.